So the first question, can you explain the meaning behind the banging of the wooden paddles before the beginning of meditation and during walking meditation? Of the paddles, banging of the wooden paddles. Well, there are so many methods in meditation, and in one of the sects of meditation, sections or schools of meditations, is the Linji. The Japanese also practiced it, the Chinese practiced it, and they use a lot of warning, encouragement, and seemingly punishments for wrongdoings. And those are coming from yelling and planking of the floor. So in other words, in a meditation hall, the Zen masters or any meditators, they don't communicate by speaking. They don't talk. So we don't say, come on, let's hurry up, or keep quiet, or faster. They minimize the talking they minimize it to the most. Because that's the whole idea. This talking is a lot of karma created from the mouth. We don't talk, and talking is conceptualization. You can talk without a conceptualization in your mind. You talk about a rose. If you cannot conceptualize a rose, if you haven't seen a rose before, you cannot communicate the rose. So talking is from conceptualization, and conceptualization is from bias, conceptualization is from discrimination, conceptualization is from a lot of pre-inferences and present inferences. So, for that reason, if we remind people to say, we bang the wooden fish, poke once, and everybody stands still, that means you must know, follow the instruction as when to walk, when to stop. Another reminder to you is, in a meditation hall, you are not the person going astray to do what you want. At home, you can relax. You can put your feet on your sofa, even put your feet on the TV, and munching on your peanuts and on your popcorn, or drinking your Pepsi Cola. You can do whatever you want at home. You can't just be casual and do whatever you want in the meditation hall. You have to follow the instructions, because as they say, your life is in the hands of the teacher. Your physical life is in the hands of the teacher. Your wisdom life is in the hands of the providence or of the Bodhisattvas who preside over the meditation. So all these is communication. If you don't know those communications, then you don't know the rules and regulations of the meditation hall. And after we ring the chime, that means click, click, ding. That means you should arise from the meditation. We don't want to do a heavy planking, because that may scare you. So we do a little tapping of the chime, or the ding, ding, and that means you got to arise from the meditation. Now, if we didn't hit the plank on the floor to put a cracking sound to scare you. So when you hear that, you know that, oh, this is the time to walk again. And then when we hit the wooden fish, dog, one time, that means you get your feet onto the ground. You put on your socks or put on your shoes, ready to go for the next round of walking. And then after a while, we hit dog, another time of the wooden fish. Then that means you get up, and then you walk. And then the vigilator will be carrying the plank and going around with you. And right now in North America, it's resembling the procedure. We're not even applying the strict rules. In the ancient days, or in some of the meditation hall in China, they hit you with the plank. In North America, you're not allowed to hit anybody, but in China, if you are doing the circumambulation, if you are slow, they say faster. They hit you on the back. And in those ancient days, when they have the 7-day meditation retreat, in which they apply the strictest rules to meditation, rumors had it that one or two monks could die of discipline. And when a monk passed away, right on the seat, he was just carried out and buried. Oh, you believe it? When it's 7 days and sometimes 49 days, and if that monk was sick to start with and he insists on meditating, and somehow, I don't know, could be many things, could have a stroke or something like that, and he passed away, and they just carry them out and bury them on the graveyard. Not surprising. They still have to conform to the rules. Very strict rules. That's the reason why in the ancient days they produce good masters. Only the disciplined teachers produce the beneficial students. Teachers who allowed you to smoke in class, chew your chewing gum in class, teachers who allowed you to put your feet on your next neighbor's desk, teachers allowed you to chit-chat, to munch on your popcorn while listening to lectures, or singing, or bring in your DVD and listen to the DVD music at the same time as you're listening to the teacher. Those teachers would never nurture any good students. So strictness produce disciplines, and disciplines produce, there's a saying, spare the rod, spoil the child. In the ancient days, spare the rod, spoil the child. You never punish the child. You allow the child to go whatever he wants to do. He can cry, he can laugh, he can jump, he can do anything he wants. He can open the fridge and empty out all your popcorns and all your stuff in the fridge, and you don't care about it. As a mom, you don't really care about education at home. You think your kid is going to be a good kid. So all these things I don't need to mention. These are the rules and regulations, make you aware. As I said, they even hit your back, and if you don't go faster, they hit you. And for some beginners, I was in a meditation retreat at Yangzhou, Gaomin at one time, and there was 200 monks and nuns circumambulating, and there was this Venerable Guan Cheng. I knew him quite well. He was from Hong Kong. He was the controller of the hall, and he was carrying this plank, and there were people who were running not fast. Faster! They hit him on the back, and he happened to hit a bhikshuni, a lady, and then that was a beginner, and the lady rebuked and answered back. 我已经很快了，还打什么? I'm already running fast enough. How can you hit me? And then you can hit him again. So they like that. So in the hall, it's not for you to say. Your life is in the master's hand. So that's how they produce Zen monks. What are we producing now? Producing people who ask questions, democracy. No hitting. That's not allowed in North America. You can be sued for it. People abuse democracy. All right, I don't want to linger on. I can linger on and on. It's not worth lingering on in this question. What is the purpose of announcing the names of the people who donated for lunch if charity is supposed to be anonymous? Good question. So, let me tell you, is always to give than to receive. If we're always sitting in here eating other people's donation, it's against your own karma. Because you set up a reliance, a dependence on other people's giving. You abuse the system. I don't have to give a penny and I'm eating a lunch. It's a delicious lunch. But do you know that the one who's giving out this lunch is for you to better yourself in your meditation? It's for you to learn so that you enlighten yourself, you become a Buddha, you become a Bodhisattva, and you render help to all the others. They have that intention in mind. But you abused it. You just eat your lunch without working. Did you work hard at meditation? Did you really try your efforts to enlighten yourself and enlighten others? Or you just, people give, anyway, I'm eating, I don't have to give out any money. You are putting a toll on your karma. You owed him something. Whenever a monk is eating, a monk has to have 5 contemplations. The first contemplation is, do I deserve this food as a monk or a nun? Have I practiced enough? People will not give this food to me without a reason. Do I deserve it? Where does the food come from? The food comes from people's donation. And people make money toiling their body and wrecking the brain, and they make the money and they just give it to us to eat? Is it their responsibility to feed me? And they're not my mom and dad. So you're always thinking about, do I deserve this? If you're always eating on somebody else's donation, you're hurting your own karma. So we're announcing names, we're communicating this message to you without embarrassing you. If I say, come on you guys, you got to watch it. Here's a donation box. When you go out, you got to deposit your money in there. Otherwise, you're not worth it. Would it be too embarrassing? And we announce names not at the request of the donors. They don't say, here I give $50, announce my name. I like to hear my names. No. We want you to know that you always have to watch. It's more blissful to give than to receive. Always give out. You know why people are rich? Because in the previous lives, they were always giving. You know why people are poor? Because they're parsimonious. They don't want to give out a penny. They don't want to help. They just keep it all for themselves. So in their next life, they're going to be in poverty. Everybody nurture his own cause to get the effect. If in this life you want to be rich, you want to be welcomable by other people, then you set up good relationship. You give. You give monetary, you give money, you give your smile, you give your help, you give your assistance. You just give like a bodhisattva. Unconditional giving. All the time giving, all the time giving. Can you do that? Or, on the other hand, you just want to receive. Come on, I want more, just give me. You pick your choice. I like to give because I feel happy when I'm giving. You know, the opportunity of giving out a donation to feed here 30 people is rare. If you want to invite 30 people to a party and you give them food, you have to write 30 invitation letters. You have to prepare your food at home. You have to go to Safeway to buy your produce, to buy your vegetables. You have to cook it. Now, you're inviting 30 friends and a main cook it for you and you're just donating $50. What do you deserve? You are inviting 30 people to eat. Somebody else helped you. Yet I don't see a lot of names every time announced. So here's a good promoter. He wanted to ask me without embarrassing you that you've got to give me your name every time. I don't care when. Everybody has his turn. I'm not pushing you. You push me to it. Here's the question. Okay, that's it. I don't want to carry on. Next question. Although I have not heard the entire explanation of the Diamond Sutra, it seems like the sutra emphasizes on the notion of selflessness. As a beginner student, what can one do or think that can serve as stepping stones to reach the ultimate goal of being selfless? So the question is, how can one think or do? You do it by starting from yourself. You don't need an extra stepping stone to step on. You want a stepping stone? No. You just start to practice it today to be not egoistic. How do we do it? Always thinking, training yourself, how do I render my compassion to others? How do I help my others? Instead of bottling up your grievances, your hatred, your feeling of inequality, you just think, how can I contribute more to my family? Instead of giving a burden to my family, how do I help out to my family? How do I help out the school? How do I help out the society? How do I start as a good individual? How do I help out others by promoting some belief? You can start with that. You don't have to start with money. I still remember when I was at University of Toronto, when I started my second year, I always went to this Chansam temple, and as a poor student, I didn't have any money, and then I make a vow in front of the Bodhisattva. I said, I don't have any money to donate, but I would contribute by bringing 100 people in this semester to that temple so that they can learn the Buddha's teaching. It's just bringing people over there. So I start to do my diary. For every person I brought to the temple so that they can listen to the Dharma, I put his name down. And at the end of one semester, I added up. Oh, it's 89 people. I need another 11. So I asked my fellow students, hey, you help me out with this agenda. I need another 11 people. Let's go as a group to that temple and listen to the Dharma talk. And I make up at the end to be 100 people. So there's always a lot of ways to help to build up your egolessness. There's a lot of ways, but one way is why don't you come to listen to lectures and Dharma talk? By you being present in there, you help to promote it. By your energy, by your participation. Instead of going to partying, instead of talking over the phone for 1 hour, or going karaoke, or going, you name it, whatever you always go, you participate it. You invite people to participate in it. So there's a lot of ways to do it, and one of the many ways is to practice meditation, read the books and tell people and promote. If you are studying at UBC right now, there's a very good way that you can do a lot of merits to help people to enlighten. Talk to fellow students. Here's a temple in Richmond, and that monk speaks English, and he can give lectures, and it's good. Since it's not bad. Well, you can't say, and that monk is giving lecture, and he's so-so. And he's not going to come. You must say, he's pretty good. Or you can impress him by saying that, oh, I really like it. You have to go and believe it. He's teaching it, and it's good. So it's always ways to tell your fellow students, tell your professors. I have 16 professors came 2 years ago from Simon Fraser. There was an organizer of a management program in Simon Fraser. He's an assistant professor. And he said, we have a 2 weeks program for 16 professors from all over China, from all provinces. And I want to bring them here, and I would like to organize a 1 day in-house training for them in meditation and in lecturing. I said, fine. So I designed a curriculum for them for that day. So we designed 1 hour for meditation, 1 hour for lecturing, and the other hour, and another hour for lunch, and another hour for another meditation. And they all like it, especially the lunch. So they like it. So that's how you can help. So many ways you can help. Spread the word around. Do as I do, bring in 100 people. If everybody bring in 100 people, we have 300 people. No, more than that, 3,000 people. And 3,000 people listen to the Diamond Sutra, and 3,000 people learn to be compassionate, 3,000 people to learn the Buddhist teaching, 3,000 people to have that peace of mind, 3,000 people in that lunch, they're not killing animals for food. They didn't kill animals for food. We practice vegetarianism. So many good ways about it. Do you feel joyful that you help people? If there are people who are depressed, tell them to come. If there are people who are aggressive, tell them to come. If there are people who are addicted to certain things, tell them to come. We're open. So that's that question. Next, Venerable, what is meant by to meditate the 4-line stanza? Are you not supposed to think of nothing in your meditation? While meditating? True. In meditation, there is 2 parts. One is samatha, ji. The other is vipassana, gun. Ji is to concentrate on an object. Meditating is you really have to visualize something to help promote your wisdom, to help to control one's, give an example, lustful desire. If you have lustful desire in your mind, you have to meditate on impurity of the body. Some people always have nurtured lustful desires in their mind, and some people are stronger having the desire than the others. Then you meditate on the impurity of a body, because if you have that lustful desire, if you use just concentrating on this object, anapasanapati, it may not be helpful. On the other hand, if you meditate on the impurity of the body, what is the body made up of? You got 9 holes of the body. The 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth, and the other 2 holes you know where? I don't have to tell you. And they're all flowing out impure liquid. And how come I'm attaching to the body? How come I'm attaching to the beauty of the so-called beauty of a body, whereas if I don't take a bath for 2 days, my body stinks? People attach their lustful desires to bodies, and they need certain meditate on, contemplate on certain things to help them to clean it out. You could be contemplating on the impermanence of things or the causality of things. You could be, for people who always get angry, who always have that anger in their mind, they may be contemplating and visualizing compassion, mercifulness, sympathetic joy. For people who don't like to help others, they may be meditating on compassion, giving to others. Not just not thinking. Sometimes you use the not thinking approach, and sometimes you use the thinking approach. Another question, at the end of the Diamond Sutra, I mentioned Asuras. What are these? Asuras is one of the beings in one of the 6 realms of reincarnation. Asuras are like demigods, or resembling gods, or resembling heavenly beings. Remember, in reincarnations, there's 6 paths of reincarnations. 3 vicious paths and 3 non-vicious paths. The 3 vicious ones is hell realm, where victims of hell, you reincarnate into victims of hell, always suffering in hell. The other one is animals, you reincarnate as animals. Third is reincarnate as hungry ghost. The virtuous ones, the good ones is humans realm, heavenly realms, and the Asuras realm. So Asuras realm is like the heavenly beings, but they always have competitive spirit in their mind. They always have, sometimes have anger in their mind. They are not as peaceful as the heavenly beings, but they enjoy longevity just like the heavenly beings. Why do they have that competitive spirit and angry spirit in their mind? Because when they're doing donations, they always attach for return. They always attach for competition. They're always angry. They're meditating, they are donating, but they have attachments in their mind. They still have that. In other words, they still have the giver, the recipient, and the gift. They have attachments. And that attachments are related to hatred and competitiveness. For people who always get angry, they always do good deeds, but they always do it with thinking of compensation and thinking of competitiveness of the donations. They will be reborn as Asuras.